at the 30-minute mark, everybody gets some water to drink. And don't forget, go grab your writing utensil and your piece of paper. So again, a pen and paper, graph paper, toilet paper, back of an envelope, I don't care. Kids, coloring book and some crayons, whatever, but get some water. Where's my microphone, Molly? Where is it? Oh, hold on while I try to drink. That's one thing. I don't want y'all to hear me swallow. Okay. Whew. So I was talking really fast there at the end. I know. Okay. So this is the second half of chat number 234, and it is titled 3 Good Things. I am Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. If you are brand new to us, all of this will be posted on our blog. It's IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. It will also all be on our YouTube channel. That is just youtube.com. Search If You Have an Egg. So in the first half, we were talking about 3 good things. The second half, I have entitled Pick 2. Okay, so you're wondering, pick 2 what? What am I picking? Am I picking 2 of the things that I thought were the 3 good things and now we're just going to narrow it down to 2? No, that's not at all what I'm talking about. Okay, so everybody knows, if you've been watching this for only 2 weeks, you know that we went back to our in-person workshops a week ago Tuesday. So we have been back officially for a week. This Tuesday will be the second, will actually be the 3rd time, but it'll be the 2nd week. So we have been back at our in-person workshops now for 2 weeks. We've had 2 meetings, 2 in-person workshops after 16 months of a hiatus. So I was especially motivated to get my rear in gear because we were going back to in-person workshops. And I've had a lot of time for soul searching. I've had 16 months to decide whether I did or did not want to do anything, whether I was or was not going to participate in anything. So tonight, we're going to talk about how this first 2 weeks back at in-person workshops has worked for me. And then we're going to pick 2. So the first thing I want to say is, last week at the end of the chat, we started making cream cheese. Who remembers that? So who even remembers that we started making cream cheese? Because I never spoke about it again. Does everybody remember that I started making cream cheese? Okay, it made cream cheese. We actually made cream cheese. There's not enough time to talk about it in the second half of tonight's chat. So I'm going to do a separate, and Betty remembers it. So I'm actually doing a separate video that will just be posted on YouTube and then on Facebook. I'm doing a separate video about the cream cheese. I'm kind of freaking out. I made cream cheese, okay? Don't even know how it happened. So, okay, so I made cream cheese. Yeah, Carol Lou was waiting for the results. So, and Tegan remembers too. So, and Linda. So I will show you the results of that in a separate video. But I wanted to let you know it did make cream cheese. Now I'm testing it. So it made something the consistency of cream cheese. So I'm testing it in a couple of different ways to see. Oh wait, hold on a second. Barbara weighed in yesterday and lost 3.6. What? That's 3.6. That is awesome. She said that for the first time in a long time. That is awesome. Bravo, Barbara. But anyway, so I'm testing the cream cheese that I made in lots of different ways. I'm testing it in all of the cream cheesy ways to make sure that it's really cream cheese. And Cynthia, okay, I've only tested it on 2 things, and so far it tastes like cream cheese. I will be testing it though in a couple of days in the buffalo chicken dip just to see how it compares, because I know how it should turn out. Anyway, so as we progress, I just need to confirm that it is really cream cheese and that it does all of the cream cheese things before I share it with you all. But it looks like cream cheese. Okay, next. So we went back 2 weeks, and if you remember 2 weeks ago during the chat, I talked about what I was going to do to get ready to go back to in-person and what I was going to do for in-person. And so I decided that I was going to plan for 4 days of meals. I was going to plan out breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's 3. Even though I didn't do 3 days, I did 4 days, but 3 meals. So I decided I was going to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then a snack. Okay, but I was going to plan that. Every day but one worked out great. The very first day, we got invited to dinner with my husband's boss and some of their business people. So, you kind of had to go. So I just made the best decisions that I could while we were there. But outside of that, everything worked well. I used for breakfast every day, I did hard-boiled eggs. And if you don't know how to make hard-boiled eggs in an air fryer, whoops, wrong way. We have 2 of them here at KC Kitchen Center. If you don't know how to, we do have a video on that. It's on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, and it's also on YouTube. So easy. There's no reason. Oh, and Leslie, all we did was start the cream cheese last week. We started the cream cheese last week. I'm testing it this week, and then by next week, I'll be able to tell you if it's really cream cheese. Trust me, if it's really cream cheese, you won't not hear about it, because that's all I'll talk about. Just like the eggs. Just like the eggs. So yeah. So if you don't know how to make the world's easiest, super simple hard-boiled eggs in the air fryer, we do already have a chat for that. There are prior chats for that. We have a video on YouTube. It's just IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. If you go down through the playlist, you're going to see that. And it's also on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. But anyway, so I made hard-boiled eggs, and I ate a different Dax spice with it. I'm still pointing in the wrong direction. Let me just use my other hand. A different Dax, what on earth? A different Dax spice with it every day, just to kind of spice it up so I didn't get bored. And then I had Activia yogurt, and then I had a tablespoon of my favorite Eat My Granola Now granola. Ooh, and Sylvia made some eggs today. So that is a local granola maker. Then I used her granola every day. And then for lunch every day, I had a smoothie. We can talk about that later, or we can talk about it from 2 chats ago. And then for dinner every night, I used some form of my Waldorf chicken salad. Then for the next few days, we ate, for dinner, everything that we ate was made with Windstar Karen's buffalo chicken dip. That is also already on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. Okay, and Deborah says, I'm a member of Weight Watchers, so what's the closed group? Okay, Deborah, you don't have to be a member of Weight Watchers to be in the closed group. If somebody will share the link, then you can go there and you can request to join, but you have to answer get 3 questions. Here's the number 3 again, and I will happily let you in. But you have to answer the 3 questions, or I can't let you in, because we were just talking about creepers earlier. For some reason, there are people so bored that they will creep on Weight Watchers groups. I don't know. What do they even want to listen to us talk about? Okay, but anyway, so made that, and hello Sandy from Naperville. So anyway, that all went really well. I did get to walk my normal amount of time with Karen, except we missed one night because her mother-in-law did pass away. I think we talked about that. Okay, and Carol Lou just posted the link for the closed group. So thank you, Carol. First of all, thank you. And if you all see that, you can just click on that. You can go over to the closed group. You can request to join, but please answer the 3 questions. You don't have to put a long answer. Just put, I saw you in the chat, want to join, whatever the third one is. But I have to know you're an actual human to let you join. But anyway, so did all that. And Karen's mother-in-law did pass away. I think we talked about that last week, but she did. But after all that, so my weight loss for the first week back at WW, so the first week back in-person workshops was 2.4 pounds. So I wanted 2, and I was very excited to get 2.4. So it's always better to get more than what you hope for, or more than what you thought you were going to get. Now I have been a lifetime member I've been a Weight Watcher for 25 years, I think, 25, almost 26 years. I got to goal quite a while ago, 5 years ago, I think. Stayed at goal for 3 years, and COVID and my mom passing away was what busted my bubble. But 2.4 was more than I expected. I was super happy with it. I understand that that's not going to be what I get every single week. And I was just saying during Gwen's last 2:30 Zoom meeting, I was just saying during that, if I knew then what I knew now, in the beginning, if I had been happy with all the weeks that I lost 0.2 pounds, I would have reached goal in like 8 years instead of it taking me 20 years. It took me 20 years to reach goal because I could not make myself be happy with 0.2 pounds. Okay, 25 years later, I'm happy with anything. Anything down is a good week to me. Okay, so what do I mean by pick 2? So the reason I want you to have the pen and the piece of paper, here's what I had to do when I had to kind of regroup. So when I had to come back to center, I didn't really start over because, I know how to do this. I've done this so long, I know how to do this, but I had to, or Gwen said today, like pretend like you're new. So pretend like you're a brand new Weight Watcher and you've never done this before. Or come back to center, or pull it all together again, or whatever you want to call that, because I'm not starting over. It's not really a restart. I've got to get back to basics. So that's just really what I need to do. Okay, so here's the reason that you need your pen and your piece of paper. And there is going to be a quiz, but there are no wrong or right answers. Okay. Okay, so John is really good at his job. So if you all have never met him, you would be in awe of how good he is at his job. He takes, and he used to manage a lot more than this, but there are guys everywhere. Like at any given time, there could be guys in all 50 states. Hopefully not all the time, but at any given time there could be. So they have people literally scattered out from coast to coast all over the United States. And trucks go down, people quit, tools run out, people don't show up, power failures, hurricanes, pandemics. I mean, things happen. So time and time again, I have listened to him talk to these guys that are tired, they're out on the road, their families are not there, they haven't seen their families, in a couple of weeks. And if a machine breaks down, again, or a pandemic hits, or or bad weather, can't find a hotel room, whatever, I listen to him talk to them about what they can do versus what they can't do. So I decided to write down for myself 10 things that I know worked. So I had, and John does that too with these guys. So he'll be like, okay, so that grinder's down. What else do you have in your trailer? What else do you have? Do you have a this? Do you have a that? Do you have a something? Where's the nearest guy? Who else has got something? Who's coming to trade out with you? When's the next time y'all are going to be in that area? I mean, he's constantly looking for what that next solution is, or what their other tools are that they have. So I decided to write down 10 tools, or 10 things, or 10 tools that I used that I knew if I did them worked. So I got to goal using these 10 tools. I stayed at goal using these 10 tools. And then I started putting those tools one at a time back in my toolbox. So when the pandemic hit and everybody started panicking, and let's face it, we all kind of panicked that first few weeks because we didn't know what was going on. We had no idea what was going on. So we, so what are we going to do? What are these tools? And we all panicked. So I put, my first tool back in. Okay, I can't deal with that today, so I'm putting this tool back in the toolbox. Okay, well, that was fine. But then my mom got very, very sick and she passed away. Well, then I put a couple of tools back in the toolbox. Okay, then I got, bored and sad and lonely because I was here by myself for 5 weeks. So I put a couple more tools back in that toolbox. You know what I mean? So what I want you to do first, John talks to them about what other tools they have on the trailer all the time. And tools might be people, tools might be tools might be equipment, tools might be a hotel room, tools might be a laundromat. It could be a whole lot of things. But I want you to take your writing utensil, whether it's a crayon, a pen, whatever it is, and I want you to write down 10 tools. So 10 things that work. If you do them, you know that it works. Any 10, and it's not right or wrong, and you don't have to tell everybody what it is, but you can if you want to. But I want you to write down 10 things that if you do them, that it works. And I'll give you a couple of ideas. So 10 of my tools that I wrote down, one of them, I'm not going to tell you all 10, but one of them was tracking. I know that tracking works. One of them is meal prep. For me, walking twice a day, and walking twice a day does not mean 100 miles. I mean, when I was walking twice a day, I was still only getting I was still getting about 10,000 steps, but I just took a shorter walk in the morning and then another walk with Karen sometimes in the afternoon, or with John. So for me, walking twice a day was a tool in my toolbox. For me, eating vegan with my mom once a week, that was a tool in my toolbox. Okay, Barbara said measuring spoons and cups. That's a great tool to have in your toolbox. That worked for her. If she uses her measuring spoons and cups, it works. Barbara says tracking. I totally agree, Barbara. I totally agree. Doing this 7 days a week, that worked for me. Attending meetings, that worked. Eating lunch. So I think that's 7 or 8 of my 10. So I want you to write down your 10 and then let me know when you're ready. So when you all are ready, give me some thumbs ups. Sandra says mindset is a good tool for her. Totally. So when you've written down your 10, it doesn't have to be a full 10. You don't have to. Oh, Carol, that's so sweet. Carol says this chat is a tool for me. Thank you. That is one of my tools as well. Because if I didn't do this every week, I'd be crazy. Barbara says working out in the workshop. Okay, Tag's done, Sandra's done. Y'all are quick. So who's got their 10? Betty Ann says weighing every morning. So that works for her. That's a tool that works for her. Vicki says water, plan, prepare, make her a priority. Exactly. Yep. Measuring. Thank you, Barbara. She said this chat's a tool for her also. Oh, and Liz says me too. Okay, Barbara's a thumbs up. Okay, so to make sure we have enough time, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and say good on your 10. Okay, Deborah says, oh yeah, her water. Okay, so who had tracking? So show me your hand, say yes, do a thumbs up, whatever, if you said tracking works. Ooh, Tag said a food scale and a human scale. Good one. Sylvia said eating at home. Okay, eating at home. That is a tool that I hadn't even thought of. That's a great one, eating at home. Okay, so Barbara says tracking. Yep, Vicki says yes. Okay, I have a feeling tracking is going to be, Jean says tracking. So I have a feeling tracking is going to be a big one for you all. Okay, so if tracking works, so we already have like, okay, Lynn, Tag, Jean, Sandra, so many of you all, me. Okay, so if tracking works, why don't we do it? Why don't we all do that? Okay, so meal prep. Several of you all said meal prep. Several of you said measuring spoons and cups. Several of you said scales. Deborah says making sure she has choices. That's an excellent tool. Okay, so now I want you to take your list of 10 and I want you to just pick 2. So if you can only do 2, if all you can do this week is 2, pick 2 off of your list of 10. You can circle them, you can put a little heart next to them, a check mark, whatever you want to do, but I want you to pick 2 out of your 10, and then when you're ready, tell me what those 2 are. Because I'm anxious to see what everybody's top 2 is. Okay, Carol says cooking and trying recipes. Those are her top 2. Those are good ones. It's hard to eat if you don't cook. Barbara says tracking and working out. Barbara, what do you do when you work out? What are you doing when you're working out? Vicki says making me a priority and tracking. Jean says tracking and walking. See, walking is my preferred method of exercise. Yep, Katie says tracking and making sure she gets her steps in. Sandra says tracking and drinking her water. How do you get your water? So, Sandra, what do you do to make sure that you get your water? And Tag says measuring in a meal plan. Sylvia says tracking and weighing in. Roberta says water, getting her water in and exercising. What kind of exercise are you doing, Roberta? Cynthia, tracking. Karen says meal planning and walking. Walking is a very popular one because most of us can do it. Let's see. Sherry, did I already say yours? Sherry says tracking and drinking water. Marianne says tracking and exercise. Deborah says weighing myself and making sure I have choices. See, I think making sure you have choices, I think that's very important. Let's see. Rita says journaling and incorporating a home workout. That's great. Rita says workouts. Lynn says eating protein at every meal and eating more vegetables. You know I'm into protein, so that's a great one. Sandra says water tracking. Barbara trains with a trainer 3 days a week and does strength and cardio. That's exciting, Barbara. I'm very excited for you. Betty Ann says weighing every morning and having the right foods on hand. Linda says tracking and a body scale. Ooh, and Roberta is doing virtual boot camp. Are you doing one of the WWs on virtual boot camp or are you doing it on YouTube? Because people will ask. They will ask me what you're doing. And Rita says, I'm not sure about the gym at this point. I also have not returned to the gym yet. So Karen and I have never, we didn't walk for like the first month when we didn't know or 2 months when we didn't know what was going on. But we have not stopped walking since then. But the gym, I have not made it back to the gym yet. Sandra says she keeps several waters in the fridge so they're ready to go. Rita says also staying focused on her why. That's a great one. If you know what your why is and you keep returning to it. Ooh, Roberta says Camp Gladiator. What is that? See, now you've got to tell us what that is. Sherry says YouTube workouts and tracking. So tracking seems to be a common theme. So let's just think about this just a second. Oop, and I don't want to forget to tell you what I'm making for this coming week. Okay, so I'm going to say that the top ones, and Marianne does outside aerobics. So what is that? Like y'all gather in a park, or where do you do that? Where do you do outside aerobics? I've seen people do outside, like, is it, like taekwondo, I don't know, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, something like that, but I haven't seen outside aerobics. Okay, so I'm going to say that out of those, tracking, some form of exercise, and Barbara does also walk, some form of exercise, your why or paying attention to me, those were all very important. Water, ooh, and Tabitha just started aqua size, and what, aqua Zumba? Tell me more. I want to know about that. Ooh, and Marianne says, yes, they gather in a park and they social distance. That sounds like so much fun. That sounds like so much fun. Okay, and then, okay, so I'm going to tell you all, this was the top 5. So just quickly looking through and saying out loud what you all were doing. The top 5 things that you all mentioned were tracking. Again, I knew tracking was going to be in the top 5. I knew it. So tracking, some form of exercise, knowing what your why is or focusing on yourself, water, and accountability. So accountability sounds like for some of you all is coming to our chats on Sunday night. Sounds like for some of you all it is going to an in-person workshop. And it sounds like for some of the rest of you it's going to an exercise class or some other form of, being with somebody. So tracking, exercise, you're knowing what your why is or focusing on yourself, water, getting in your water, and accountability. Those were your top 5. I would say those are an excellent top 5. So what I want you to do this week, I know I already gave you homework, but what I want you to do this week is to pick 2. You don't have to pick 2 of those top 5, but I want you to pick 2 of yours. So a lot of y'all already picked 2, and I want you to focus on that this week. So again, when I was getting ready to kick this back in, John had asked me what worked before. What's different now? So what is different now? Okay, yeah, and Tabitha says it's so much fun. I seriously want to figure out if we have that here. But John had asked me a long time ago, what's different? So what is different? What were you doing, to be successful, and what's different now besides the pandemic? Because let's face it, I can't keep blaming the pandemic on everything, okay? I can't blame it for everything because we've learned to do a lot of things, around that. So one of the things, no way I'm going to do it anymore. I can't eat vegan with my mom one day a week. That's sad. That's not going to happen. Attending meetings wasn't a possibility until 2 weeks ago. Eating lunch at work, that's still very much a work in progress. So I couldn't do all 10. So I couldn't go from none to 10 of the things that worked, got me to goal, and kept me at goal. I couldn't go from 0 to 10. So I decided to pick 2. So I want you to pick 2. And again, this is not new homework. I just want you to do this for you, not for your homework. But pick 2 things. Pick 2 things that will work, And if tracking's one of them, if you can't do it 7 days, do it 2 days or 3 days. That's what I did. So I knew that first week I wanted to be in, and I wanted to be in 100%, but I also knew I still had work. I was still going to have people out sick. It's inevitable. I was still going to have more customers than I could take care of. It was going to happen. There was going to be a night that something would get messed up for dinner. It happened. So what I decided was to do 4. So I picked 2 things that I could focus on, and the 2 things I focused on were meal prep and tracking. So I decided that I'd do meal prep and tracking for 4 days, and I did it. So I just did it for 4 days. You can do anything for a few days, and if you just pick 2. So don't try to do all 10, just pick 2. So for your additional homework, not really, you don't have extra homework, but I want you to do this for you. I want you to pick 2, just 2 of those things that were on your list, and then I want you to pick a number of days or a number of times. If you say, I'm going to track 2 meals, you don't have to say 2 days. Uh-oh, what can't Rita type? Hold on a second. Now she's got me curious. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Rita says, I love this group. Thank you, Kelly, for all you do for the rest of us. Yes, thank you very much. And yeah, I got that. I have to listen. I have to figure out what people are saying all day long. At least y'all can understand me. At least you can understand what I'm saying. Because voice commands can't. Okay. So I want you to pick your 2, pick what your 2 things are, your 2 things from your toolbox. And then I want you to pick when you're going to do them. So like if it's going to be 2 meals, 2 days that you're going to track, if you're going to exercise 3 days, if you're going to exercise twice a day, 1 day, or if whatever it is that you're going to do, I want you to do that. So I'm making my commitment to you. I'm going to show you what I'm getting ready to meal prep because my commitment excuse me, for this coming week, I'm going to meal prep again. But remember, I get bored really easily, so I'm only going to meal prep for 4 days. But I'm going to meal prep again and I'm for 4 days, and I'm going to track again for 4 days. So I'm going to do that again for another week. So I did it last week. I did it this week. I'm going to do it this coming week. So once I get that under my belt, I'm going to try for 5 days. So I'm just going to do this a little bit at a time. I don't want y'all to do it with me. But if you tell somebody that you're going to do it, you're like a million times more likely to do it. I don't know what the actual percentage is, but it's a lot. It's a lot more than 0. So I'm going to commit to you all that tomorrow, Alyssa and I, at some point during our busy day, we are going to meal prep for 4 meals for me. I wish to goodness she would eat any of this, but I don't think she's going to. But what we're going to meal prep for next week, and we'll talk about it next week, or I'll do a video or something, but we're going to meal prep a just like a Mediterranean salad to eat for supper for 4 nights. And I'm going to use ditalini pasta because it is teeny tiny. It's teeny tiny. And it's not whole wheat, but I want a little bit of pasta in this. I'm going to use arugula for my salad. I'm going to use cucumbers because cucumbers are they just feel very, very Mediterranean to me. I am going to use tomatoes with those because, again, tomatoes feel very Mediterranean, and you know I love the little teeny tiny tomatoes. And tomatoes here are already starting to get kind of funky because of the dry weather and the heat. Then I'm going to add some mild banana peppers. I'm also going to use olives, and I don't know where my can of garbanzo beans is, but anyway, it's going to have garbanzo beans in it too to kind of meat it. It's not meat, but you know, to kind of meat it up, to kind of fill it up. And then I'm going to use, and I have not used this in a long time, but I'm going to use the Smithfield diced ham. You don't have to have meat in it, but because I'm going to be eating this for dinner and I would like for John to try it, I'm going to put just a little bit of meat in it. Then I'm also going to add some feta cheese. So this is fat-free feta cheese from Trader Joe's. And I'm going to use fat-free Italian dressing. So this is a recipe that I've made a million times in some form or fashion, but I never actually wrote it down as a recipe because it was more of a just feeling kind of, it's mostly that kind of, you know, wang tonight. And so I just throw everything together. So Alyssa and I will be putting this up, and yes, exactly, Tabitha said hashtag bulk it up with garbanzo beans. I need to make a new bulk it up sign to bring down here to KC Kitchen Center. But anyway, Alyssa and I will be whipping this up tomorrow. We will see how she does because we'll be at home, so we'll see how she does with helping me prepare something. Fingers crossed it goes better than the planting a garden did, but it was fun. But yeah, we don't have much of a garden. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be making for this week. So I want you to be thinking about your 2 things. Decide what the 2 things from your toolbox are. I really seriously do want you to write down 10 things from your toolbox, even if they're on slips of paper, post-it notes. Even if you put them on post-it notes and stick them away for later, put them on a note and put them away for later. You can switch out your 2 things. It doesn't have to be the same 2 things every week. So actually post-it notes would be great for that because you could put up your 10 and then this week you can pull 2. Next week you can put those 2 back if you need to change or if you've perfected that. But you can keep doing that and you can keep adding things to it if you want to. But I seriously want you to do that and focus on that this week as your extra homework, as your extra credit. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would love it if you would go ahead and let that next video roll over. And I would love it, super love it if you would go ahead and click on this subscribe button and click the little bell so that you'll be notified the next time that we have a video come out. And as always, we have our Spreadshirt store is over here, and you are more than welcome to go buy any of our cool merch that Casey comes up with. So it has been another fun week. So happy that we got to be here. So happy that we did not end up having to go spend time, much time anyway, over helping them with John's mom. So fingers crossed, prayer said that keeps going well. But everyone have, good night, John. I'll be home good night, John boy. I'll be home in a few minutes. But everybody have a great week. I had so much fun again. Yeah, y'all just keep on going on. But do your homework, do your stuff, get your toolbox out. Let's get going because I'm ready to go. Okay, and I want y'all to go with me. So y'all have a great evening, and I will talk to you next week. Good night.